here's my question for you. When was the last time you sing? Or when was the last time you noticed your own voice?
I sing as part of my warm-up. My name is NATALIE Beran and I'm an artist. I'm a voice artist. Well-known voice artists or voiceovers that might come to mind if you are thinking about someone who does a job like me. You know, Walt Disney, he, of course, voiced Mickey Mouse way back in the day. Steamboat Willie was the first voiceover cartoon. Mel Blanc, the man of 1,000 voices. Movie trailer man, Don LaFontaine, voiced thousands and thousands of movie trailers over the years. Robin Williams is the genie in Aladdin, and if you've ever seen the movie Mrs. Doubtfire, the opening sequence is him in action doing all his voiceover work for a movie. And, of course, one that is very popular and keeps surfacing is, of course, James Earl Jones and his stint as Darth Vader in Star Wars. So I'm a voice artist. I started off in radio and have worked in a variety of different styles and genres over the years. Things like animation, radio dramas, gaming, radio, TV commercials. The list of what a voice artist does is pretty huge. And I'll run through it really quickly. Voice artists work in animation, anime, radio dramas, gaming, ADR, which is the dialogue replacement for movies, dubbing from one language to another, mimicking, looping, continuity. If you're watching telly at night, you can hear someone telling you what's coming up next. Voice of God, if you've watched the award ceremonies like the Oscars or Tony Awards, someone always keeps you up to date about what's coming up next and who's on stage. Oh gosh, if you're into audiobooks, that's us, that's voice artists. We've got narration, documentaries, non-fiction, fiction. If you pick up your phone and someone tells you to press 1, 2, or 3 for a different option, that's your voice messaging or your telephone prompts, known as IVR. Corporate narration for different things. E-learning, if you've picked up a course while you've been at home, working from home. Promotions or in-store advertising. If you've been to a museum or a bus tour or galleries, the planetarium, you'll often find some sort of audio or a voice artist there doing a tour guiding type thing. All those annoying, noisy toys and games, voice artist is behind those as well. Gadgets like your Siri or Alexa, or if you're driving with SatNav. And of course, the ever popular podcasts and YouTube videos. So to be a voice artist, you need to have versatility, study up on current trends in terms of advertising and audio, networking, and of course, most importantly, training. Now, I'm a trained actress and I also did broadcasting and communications through college, so I've kept going with that, but I will always go back for more coaching, workshops, masterclasses, webinars, and of course, practicing, recording, and I do a lot of my own editing as well. Gosh, I work on accents. As you can tell, I've got a New Zealand accent, but I also work in British accent, American accent, Australian, a few other different pieces of accents around the world as well. So I'll keep practicing those. I practice singing, I practice acting, characters, warm-ups, pronunciation and languages. Now, I'm not fluent in any second language, although I have been learning bits and bobs. And of course, you get some projects where pronunciation and understanding of foreign names and places, people, products, etc. absolutely must be correct. So for example, I am from New Zealand, and New Zealand has 2 official languages. We've got English and we've also got Māori. So I will research, practice, check in with a fluent or a native speaker just to make sure I'm getting things correct. And that's in terms of practicing pronunciation of letters, words, or common phrases, and of course place names, which could crop up in stories or corporate productions, things like that. Another example is that I have worked on an audiobook where all the characters took several trips between the UK, France, and Spain, and you need to sort of pay attention you're not getting tripped up by those place names or food dishes or objects along the journey of your characters. As a voice artist, as you can see, I'm in a booth at the moment, so I'm pretty set up. I've got a laptop, I have a tablet if I need to download a script or work on a book. Microphone, we often will use a DAW, which is your digital audio workstation for editing, and a preamp and a few other bits and bobs as well. Pretty easy to set up, and if you, again, back to training, learning how to use all your equipment is really good as well. I could keep talking about this all day, but what I'm going to do is share some audio with you guys. As a voice artist, you need to have voice demos, and I have a range of them which kind of show off different things and different ways to do some work there. So for example, I have worked in radio drama, so I have a radio drama reel that you can hear here.
I found almost everything ever written about love to be true. Shakespeare said, "Journeys end in lovers meeting." What an extraordinary thought. Now, personally, I have not experienced anything remotely close to that, but I am more than willing to believe Shakespeare had. I think the thing is, these guys are legends in this country, so people want everything they do to be legendary. Especially something as big as breaking up. I mean, stories like that one about the Hindenburg are a compliment. They show the effect the group has on people, but they're really exaggerated. Damn it. Where the hell was that truck stop? I peered at the road for the telltale green sign. I couldn't have missed the exit yet, could I?
That's an example of some radio drama work in audiobooks. Quite popular at the moment is the work of gaming and animation. So I've got a few different things which are useful if I'm submitting myself for auditions or roles. With gaming, there's a lot of different things out there, from games for young children or the more sort of violent shoot 'em up type things. So I will just play one of these for you. This is my gaming voice demo.
Look, I know I'm not exactly your first choice for a partner, but when they get here, you'll need to rely on me. I can't afford for this mission to fail. What happened last time can't happen again. If you're watching this, well, you'll know why, obviously. I've often wondered how it would happen, but I guess I'm better off not knowing, right?
Welcome to the Foundry, where possibilities are infinite, and you control your potential.
I'm not gonna kill you, no matter how much I want to, but I'm going to make you tell me who you're working for! Come on! Who is it?
The thing about gaming, I would align that quite strongly with acting. It's very physical when you're in the booth. You're doing all the grunts and the exertions and the fighting, and if you can get your whole body into it in as much space as you have in your booth, then you can really get all of those emotions out, and you can get a lot more going for the character that you're trying to work with. You'll notice as I'm speaking to you, I'm using my regular native accent, which is a New Zealand accent. But I also, again, work in different accents for different industries and different marketplaces around the world. So another example is I have a commercial demo, which is my US accent.
If you take the ooey gooey goodness of a grilled cheese and put it around the greatest pizza you can eat, what do you get? The grilled cheese stuffed crust pizza. Proof that no one out-pizzas the hut. However you decide to do it, and wherever it happens, always be on track. Find your best fit at Fitbit.com. Owning a dog walking business means I'm literally on the move all the time with my furry clients. So it needs to be easy for me to get paid anywhere I go. PayPal here lets me accept credit or debit cards right from my phone. You could share a room with other people.
A few examples in there. Most demos are kept quite short, because if you're submitting for a job or auditioning for something, then whoever's producing the project is going to get hundreds of submissions from all sorts of voice artists around who fit the brief. So I would, my voice sounds kind of young, so I often go for young sounding, energetic jobs, commercials and things like that. When it comes to audiobooks, I've done romances, I've done some novels, I've done some fact-based fiction, and I'm a prolific reader anyway, so I love reading, and to be able to read audiobooks is a bit of a treat. So this is a little bit of a sample of one of the books that I have available at the moment.
Should I leave a note or simply disappear? If I don't, the police will spend hours looking for me, but if I do and the note is found before we're married, the result could be disastrous. Well, then again, what should I write? In the end, she decided it would be safer to do nothing. At 4 o'clock in the morning, she dressed in her travelling clothes and thought for the 100th time about how she might leave the house without being heard. I must take more care with my makeup. My Jimmy needs to see me looking at my best. Her original idea of knotting the sheets from her bed together and climbing out of the bedroom window lost its appeal when she opened it and looked out. A full moon in a clear sky promised a fine, dry day ahead.
So just a few examples there of different things that I have been working on. With audiobooks, you can either go to a studio and record the whole thing, and I've done that several times, where we will have a book and we'll just read it straight through. So it's reading all day long. So to be able to talk for a really long time also means you need quite good physical fitness, or at least really good breath control to be able to just talk and talk and talk. So a book of around 350 pages, you may be in the booth for a day and a half or two, just getting that all produced. And that's often quite a treat to have an engineer to do all the tricky bits for you, so you can just read and enjoy it and get those characters across. I have also produced some audiobooks in my booth at home. So again, knowing how to edit so that you can do that a little bit quicker and keep practicing and get the editing going also really helps, so that you can not sit there for days and days and days editing books. My background, I started in radio, so I first worked in commercial radio and talkback radio as well. So talkback, I was a producer, which gave me really strong grounding in production and some techniques as well. And then for the radio side of things, I've worked for a pop station, an easy listening station, a classic rock station. So being on air and being able to talk in those little chunks of time between songs and keep everyone entertained has been quite good in moving forward with voice work. One of my favorite types of voice work is, as I mentioned, with audiobooks. I enjoy that. But I also like doing children's books, and I also read for the New Zealand Blind Foundation for a couple of years as well. So doing that and being able to make the audio available for a wider range of listeners has been really good as well. Projects on the go at the moment. I'm working on 2 audiobooks, which I'm recording and producing at home. One is just a novel with a range of characters from Australia and the US and England, so it's quite a good variety of 2 family trees in that story. And then another book is a sort of sci-fi fantasy book, which it's all around an end of the world event, and it's an anthology, so a lot of different authors have come together around this singular theme and a singular main character. And the stories are fantastic. I'm really enjoying it, and the variety of places and locations and accents and characters in this one is making it a really fun voice artist actor project. And other bits and bobs that I've been doing, I had a very quick job this morning for a tiny little 6-second ad which may appear on YouTube, so the variety is pretty good.
Do you change voices in as you read books? You know, they're like quotes for different characters as you read a book. Do you change your voices when you read the quotes from different characters?
Yeah, it's you'll often find the voice of the narrator, which is the he said, she said, and the descriptive text. And then when you have your different characters, especially if you've got characters of different ages, or you know, female, male, then you adjust slightly. Or if I'm using a man voice, it often helps to kind of picture a male that I know, so I can almost sort of mimic what that person sounds like, and move my breath or where the voice is coming from. So whether it's further back in the throat, or if the character might be more nasal or has a drawl or something like that. So one time I had a character that had a little bit of a speech impediment. So when I was voicing it, I physically sort of grabbed my lip and did all of their bits so that I couldn't move my lip as much as we were just talking like that, just to give that a little bit more authenticity that the character had some kind of ailment or physical problem. So you can do different things. You can, if you've got a character who's got a cold, you can block your nose.
It's so difficult for us to reading on a screen for such a long time. Maybe that's a new way of reading, just lessening the thought.
It sort of takes you back to, when you're growing up and you're a child, you're read stories. So I think for most people, having someone tell you a story is kind of comforting as well. And if you're traveling and you perhaps can't read while you travel for sickness or anything like that, motion sickness, downloading an audiobook for your commute can be quite nice. So you can sort of churn through a book in a few days listening to it rather than trying to read it on a bumpy train or